Hello, everyone. Regina here. Isn't it amazing how we can't really see until we realize that we are going to die? Sight in death. Living to conclude what never can be among humans. What a battle it is to never notice purpose. She holds the crown of confidence, and her face is set like flint, just like her character. Her day-to-day tasks allows her to reveal a smile that goes unnoticed, and her eyes could tame the heart of any man, woman, child, or beast. Though she's not in hiding, her eagerness to be noticed places her in a perpetual alertness mode, pushing herself even deeper into the abyss of our matrix, the outside world, where eyes are blind and the tongue is sharper than a two-edged sword. The hearts of humans bear armor that is only deactivated when among their own, and even then that has its limitations. These days, seeing one another to consider one another is off the table. Many avoid eye contact, which is why purpose and all of her glory will remain walking among many, hiding unintentionally in plain sight. Purpose as it relates to sight, consideration, compassion, patience, understanding, which leads to love. To walk without purpose, to lead and guide blinded vision forms to match that shielded heart and distribute hostility, while out in our world known as the Matrix, aka Earth, doing things out of order and retaliating with anger when their insubordination is revealed to them, calling out another's ridiculous behavior for making a public display of themselves while out in the matrix. Loud, rude, no regard for others, arrogant, and fixed in their own way. Challenging authority and breaking the laws of the land and those that enforce them, and many are a very threat to every community. They stick out like a bleeding, infested wound that has become stinking and rotting, going out with intent, making purpose look like a maniac instead of the graceful entity that she is. Their only plan is to show the world how to be rebellious and out of order. At the market today, I ran into a carpool of two with a handicap placard hanging over the rearview mirror in their car. The passenger was in good shape. The driver, on the other hand, obviously had the pass to navigate the vehicle. The idea and plan should have been going to market, parking a handicapped parking space, while the passenger retrieved a mobility scooter for the driver, which was indeed handicapped. Two adult women in their 60s or more. Hard to tell these days, as 20 is the new 40 and 40 is the new 60 and 60 is the new 110. The plan failed because they had no plan. The market has two entrances. The first one takes you to the front door with parking spaces directly in front, and the handicapped spaces dominate, meaning there are many. The second entrance is on the opposite end and places you alongside of the building with the fire lanes dominating the parking spaces across from the fire lanes. Enough room to park in a space and get out of the way. There's no room to do anything but pull in a parking space or pull out and exit. There's a display area that's part of the first entrance. People are coming in and out with their carts. Those that chose the tight, more private parking spaces, like myself, to avoid the congestion area, unless there's someone without a plan, like these two women today. And then they come up alongside the building and park in the display area, blocking traffic for those coming and going from both ways, and with no room to go around them. Now people can't get around with their carts or back out of their parking spaces to leave. I can't get around, the car behind me can't get around me, and they can't tell if I'm the problem or not. Of course, I motioned for those to go around with their carts and promised that I wasn't trying to squeeze through or past the two women. Plus, they had their car doors open. And here I go, open mouth, insert foot. I'm asking if they are dropping off or what we're trying to do. What are we trying to achieve here? And I told them that they were putting all of us in the most precarious of situations. It wasn't until then that they actually noticed the chaos that they were causing. The passenger popped out of the car and was real madcap and began to approach me because I pointed out the obvious to both of them. One thing about wearing a madcap, we can always tell when we meet the one that invented the madcap. She's handicapped and we need to get a scooter for her, the driver yelled at me. What rose in her had nothing on what the Lord has been keeping down for many years within me, my old woman. I retorted, we are all handicapped in more ways than you will ever know, as if your handicap warrants you to put others out or have no consideration. I would think that you would be more considerate. Oh yes, I see the handicap placard. Everyone sees it. Jesus even sees it. But that's no excuse for inconsideration. As a matter of fact, it's a wooden leg, and what you are trying to do is unsound and inconsiderate. And you get mad at me because of your inconsistencies. Now I'm full-fledged angry. Have some mercy, as I pointed out the disorder. She needs a scooter, and I'm getting her one, the woman shouted at me. Then the plan would call for her to park the car in a handicapped parking space, which is closer actually, and you go get what she needs. You are out of order. Getting mad at me because you two didn't plan your movements once here at the market is not our fault with your crazy, inconsiderate self. Now move your car. That poured out of my mouth like an open wound, spurting out blood. I yelled before I could even think. Couldn't see Jesus that day. The driver closed her door, and I was able to go around to find a parking space because all of the spaces on the backside were filled, and of course no one could get in and out anymore because they were blocking everything. I had to park in front with them. I looked at her as she walked alongside my car barking like a mutt that had just been told that the meat that she's been eating all of these years is fake. I parked, still looking at her, and she locked eyes with me. They realized their calamity. She went in to get a scooter and the driver parked in a handicapped parking space. But now the spirit of discord is standing up right and ready for more. She was still shouting. I didn't care what she was saying at all, shouting my words that stifled out her every word. My last words to her were, you are out of order. Get it right with your crazy self and stop getting mad at me because y'all didn't have a plan. Go ahead and keep it moving. Go get her scooter and learn how to act. Yes, that woman that has been asleep for years rose like a new day, and the damage was done. She had risen in me. That Moses spirit is bad for any Christian, and yes, I felt the impact of my showing no mercy or grace. I could have been more compassionate, but I knew what I knew in the moment that I knew it in, and it went down the way that it did. God is working on me too. They got it together, and I did everything that I could to keep that confrontational spirit at bay. It placed me and others in a funk. The atmosphere was stressed indeed, and all I could do was reflect on what had just happened, rewinding the entire event. The people behind me, they only saw me. The man with his cart couldn't get around me, and I had to point out that I couldn't get around them. He looked at the passenger as she exited the car to approach me before retrieving the scooter. She thought that she would place fear on my heart as she yelled at me like a mad woman. Then he looked back at me and said, "Oh, I see. I'll go another way. But thank you and good luck with that," he said, looking at the woman and then back at me, as he turned his cart briskly and got out of the way of the rage and the insubordination. Having 3 venues left, I now have a monkey that is trying to jump on my back to place thoughts of the state of an uncaring, inconsiderate, waxing cold, lovers of themselves, high-minded people walking this earth, encountering those here in this section of Concord, North Carolina, and I have become a magnet for them all. Now I'm thinking many are caring nothing for humanity, caring nothing for order, caring nothing for those encountering to never acknowledge them. How much more will God go unnoticed? I was angry, thinking if we had to depend on these to usher in Jesus, what chance will we have? I yelled, if your people that are called by your name, Lord, will humble themselves and pray, seek your face, turn from their wicked ways, you will hear our prayers and heal our lands. And I'm looking up and I'm saying this to God because this is His word. Looking around is not going to happen. I yelled to God, and you know it, as I cried so hard that I had to pull my car over. I found myself seeing the uncaring people. I was crushed to anger, knowing that this could all end with recognition and reverence towards our Creator. Who would call and humble themselves to pray and seek your face, God? I yelled. Turn from our wicked ways, that you may hear our prayers and heal our lands. Many don't acknowledge anything, not even another. How then will they acknowledge you, God? By those that can't see past their own face. The time is now. It's time to step out of self into order to see the magnitude of our very existence. These are the things that is seen only near death. I've never seen more clearly now that I have a life on one side and death rearing up on the other. No sight like sight in death. If only I had the same sight in life. Live while you can is the moral of this story, because we see things differently when we have a death sentence over our heads. Live like today is the last day of the rest of your life, and you will go before God. Live with that purpose. She'll introduce herself to you full on if you do. In other words, live like you're dying, because we never appreciate it until it's gone.